Hey there, welcome or welcome back to Oops, I Planted Again. My name is Courtney, and today I have to show you every Anthurium I own and talk about every single one of them in detail, talk about the troubles that I've gone through with them, why I keep buying them, and I have to show you my dream Anthurium that I recently got before I feel like it's gonna die off and, hopefully come back to life because I've heard horror stories about it. But let's get right into the video. We're gonna start off strong with my crusty Anthurium Regal. Now, when I first got this plant, this is a plant I got from an Equigenera pop-up in April. It was perfect, it was beautiful. I just happened to see it. I think it was only 45 bucks. I had to snap it up, like why not? It was beautiful. And when I first got it, it was just in moss. So one of the issues that I run into a lot, I don't anymore as much because I've been more mindful about it, is that if you're just using moss, you really, really, really have to be conscious of the moisture in your moss, because if you let it dry out, the roots are gonna get dry, and then when you flush it again with a bunch of water to rehydrate the moss, to hydrate the plant, that is a form of overwatering, and you're basically blasting the plant with water even though it's been dry for a really long time. And that's one of the issues that I ran into with this plant. It was beautiful, now it's crusty, and I've heard also that with the Anthurium Regal, that when a new leaf comes in, the other ones can get crusty, and I'm really sad about it. But I will say I did change the medium not that long ago. The medium I have it in now is this moss and perlite and leca medium, and this is kind of why I'm confident that it will grow well, because it's loving being moist all the time. Do people hate the word moist? I think they do. I don't know why. But inside the glass container, as you can see, there's water and there's leca at the bottom with a little bit of perlite. And then in this is just moss with perlite. It's growing exceptionally well, and it does have a new leaf. Knock on wood. I'm gonna lightly knock on this wood table right here. I haven't had pests with this plant in particular. Now, what I will say, another problem that I ran into is my humidity levels being inconsistent. And with Anthuriums, you wanna make sure they have consistent humidity because of where they come from. They're used to it. And, sometimes I wouldn't fill my humidifier up. And, once you get into Anthuriums, you really gotta keep them moist and humid in any way that you see fit, whether that's with a humidifier or just keeping them in an enclosed area with proper airflow, natural humidifiers, whatever the case may be. I'm not too sad about this plant, even though it's really crusty, but it's still alive and kicking, so I'm not gonna bitch too much about it. And the crystallinium, gorge, growing a new leaf, which is a positive. And I will say the same thing that I talked about with the Regal is the same thing that I can probably say for all of them, is that initially when I imported them, I did water for 24 to 72 hours, just had them in water, and then I put them in moss. Some of the first ones I imported, I put straight into soil, but then the soil I had, it wasn't good, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So let me go back to moss, the shit that I know. And I went back to moss, been growing well in moss. Honestly though, really, it's like a big lump. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like out of the thing, but the roots are growing. If I can see that the roots are growing, I'm still confident in the plant. And I'm still confident in this plant, even though I just found pests on it. So now it'll be isolated, which is kind of annoying with Anthuriums because I want them to be next to the humidifier. And, it's gonna be challenging, but we'll figure it out. But I really think out of all of the Anthuriums that I have, this one is probably the easiest, even though it kind of looks like fucking shit, but that's all right. I still think it's really easy to care for. And, we'll deal with the pest. I think if you want to get into Anthuriums and you want to try one out, I really do recommend this one. This is the oldest one that I have. The 4 leaves at the bottom, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the original leaves from when I first imported this plant. And then we have the new ones that grew kind of freaking ugly. But you know what? They're here. They're alive. They have roots, and we'll clean up the pest. We'll treat it. We'll take care of it. But I still really, really love this plant. And like I said, this one is in moss. And then leca and perlite at the bottom. And this just has water in it. Still love it. Still think it's a great plant. We'll treat it for pests. Not a big deal. Here we have the Anthurium Anthurium. This is another one that was challenging for me to import. To be really honest with you, I don't think this type of glass was the best option, but now that it's in here, I don't feel like changing it. I just think the funneled like design isn't as cute as it is. I don't think it's as functional, like as good for this plant. I kind of feel like it's a little bit suffocated, and you know, the growth is stunted. I don't even see, I mean, it's not like you can always see something coming up, but oh, there is something in there. Okay, we got something coming up in here. So hopefully I can show you something a lot cuter in a couple of months. And this one was actually right next to the Crystalinium, so you know what that means. This is my Anthurium magnificum, another one. Some of these, I think the last two, so the Clarinarium, this one, the Regal, the Forgetty Eye that I'm going to show you, and the last ones that I'm going to show you are ones that I just imported in like the last 4 or 5 months. 5 months? Dang, it's October. No, it's November. Oh my gosh. October, September, August, July, damn, it's been 6 months. I thought it was a lot shorter of a time. But anyways, these are the most recent imports. And if you've never imported plants, the process can be really overwhelming at the beginning because these plants are coming from a complete other country. They're traveling for a long period of time. They don't have light, they don't have water, and it's a stressful process on a plant, and it's likely that the plant is going to die off. And when you first do it, it's like, oh, I killed it. But it's just like the shipping process, and you really learn how to basically revive and rehab your plants that you are importing. And I think the process takes a while to learn, and it depends on your environment as well and the type of care that you want to give that plant, but it's 100% possible. So don't be overwhelmed if your plant looks crusty and like shit. You know, it'll keep going. As long as it has the roots, like, you can do anything. That's all that matters. It could take forever, but as long as it has roots, you're good, girl. Okay, so Anthurium magnificum, leca perlite, and some moss. This is actually a really tiny container for this. It sits in this really cute ceramic pot that I got from IKEA. Where else? And we have a new leaf coming. This one is another one for me that has been a really slow grower. And you know, slow growth is not terrible. It's just what it is. But another one, pretty chill. And all my Anthuriums that I'm showing you right now, except for the last one, are all on their own shelf. They're kind of spaced out, but not enough that I feel comfortable just like throwing the plants back on there without absolutely treating every single one. So that's what I'm gonna have to do after this video. Next up, we have this absolute stunner, the Anthurium Forgetty Eye. This is a plant that was probably my least favorite when I first imported it because it grew slow and I thought it was super boring. I left for a week on vacation, came back, and we had this brand new leaf. I was absolutely floored, very happy about it. Then we have the second leaf. And I'm gonna say this because it's true, not because I'm trying to sound better than other people. I don't touch my leaves when they unfurl. I just don't do it because I am really clumsy. I'm a very clumsy person. I rip stuff, I run into stuff, I trip all the freaking time. And with my luck, I would just rip off a plant's leaf completely. And you know, I just don't want those problems. So honestly, I don't know why it came out this way, you know, and it's still growing. It's getting bigger and bigger, it seems like every day. But we have another new leaf coming, and hopefully cross our fingers that this one turns out like this one, so we can just get this one growing super well. I haven't had any trouble with this plant besides it grows slow in my opinion. I have it in moss perlite, leca at the bottom. We can get a close up of those roots. I mean, as long as the roots are happy, like I said, you're golden. You're golden. I have two more types of Anthuriums to show you. This is a Magnificum Verde, and this is one that's remained in moss, and it's me going through that vicious cycle of not keeping it moist. It's very dry. I think this is the oldest leaf. It's about to go. I've had this for a couple of months. This is the newest. This is the newest leaf that just popped out. But I will say something I forgot to mention is something else that I've run into with Anthuriums is root rot. But for me, basically what that comes down to is my inconsistent watering. So when you're not watering and the plant's not moist and then you're going back and watering in and it's just really inconsistent, it can make the roots mushy, disgusting, and basically die off, and they're just kind of like sitting in there, and then it just ruins the whole thing. So that's something else with Anthuriums to look out for, and something that I have been working on being more consistent with my watering. And not even just more consistent, but finding ways to make sure I maintain the moisture level of my plant. And the way that I've been able to do that over the last couple of months is switching to mediums where I have leca and perlite and moss, and they're in this combination where it's really easy for me to, one, actually see where the water levels are, and two, the water levels are staying higher more consistently because I can see it and I know that the leca is working its little magic to make everything moist. Now we have the Anthurium warraquinum. This has been a dream plant of mine for a very long time, and I recently imported it from Ecuador. I literally got it 2 weeks ago, and I got 3 of them for $80. It was under their like weekly specials. And you know, we already have 1 leaf that's gonna go. And I know this with importing plants now, so it doesn't freak me out. It's just like, I'm sad, but I wanted to show you this before the whole thing hopefully doesn't die. But you know, if it does, you saw it, okay? And this is the biggest one that I have, and I'll show you the other 2 that I got. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, okay, so this is drainless potting. We have leca perlite in the bottom, moss perlite at the top. The roots are really healthy and hardy, and I actually did a video of me unboxing these plants, and I will post that video, but I want to wait until I have like a month or 2 of an update towards the end of that video so that I can show you like what happened, if it's growing, if it's not growing, where I fucked up. So that's why I'm waiting to give you a more in-depth detail about importing these plants from Ecuador. This is the baby Anthurium warraquinum that we got, and honestly though, I low-key think there's a new leaf coming. I'm not trying to, I don't know, like, what's the word? Oh my gosh, what is that word? I'm not trying to jinx myself, but I low-key think this is a new leaf coming in already, which is like, holy shit, thank God, because this plant is scary. This plant is scary to me, but you know, this one is just in a little glass. This one is more distinct with the leca perlite and moss, but I love it. And I hope, I'm gonna show you an up close of this. I hope that's a new leaf. I think that's a new leaf, so that's really good. But this is the mini one that I got. And here we have the medium sized Anthurium warraquinum. I think, do I see something new popping up? I'm not 100% sure on this one, but this one's chilling. I just got this glass actually from IKEA. It is the, I have no idea, what is this? IKEA, it's 105.119.63. It's actually green. The pot is actually green, you just can't tell. The glass is green. And we have my leca perlite and moss mixture. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, these are the newest Anthuriums that I've imported, and I'm a little nervous. I'm only nervous because this is like one of the plants that I've always wanted, and it's one that I've never grown. And I've just heard horror stories about these. Basically, they're really hard to grow, and you know, they're never happy. You have to keep them really humid. So I'm just doing everything in my power that I can to make sure that I give these plants the best chance of surviving. I think we'll be okay. I'm a little nervous, but I think we'll be okay. And that was my entire Anthurium collection. I have gotten into Anthuriums in the last year, and I really love them, and I want to get some more. Comment below what your favorite Anthurium is, because you know I'm always looking for new plants. I want to thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.